Hello everyone, this is Men's. I'm playing the Tier 9 British tank destroyer, the Tortoise. I'm going to do at least 2 battles with this, and the Tortoise, as you see here, its name is the Tortoise, so it's pretty slow, and the hull armor is a little bit deceiving, since even though it does look fairly well, you do have quite a bit of armor holes that people can go through and do damage to you pretty easily. Basically, tier 9 and up tanks can go through you unless if you're at quite a bit of a distance from them, and your main asset is your gun. Once you unlock the top 120mm anti-tank gun, you have a 400 damage round that the rate of fire here doesn't really do it justice, but it's pretty much one of the highest DPM tanks in the game, and you can really chew right through tanks. Even with a damaged ammo rack, you have more DPM than most tanks that you are facing. Now, Mountain Pass here is a pretty good map for this. I can kind of keep my distance from people. Maps that you have to get up close, you don't do particularly well since you are slow and people can flank you pretty easily. So you want a map that you can kind of hang in the back and just keep pumping out shells at people, since you do have a lot of shells, and with that really high DPM you can really turn the tide of a match just with your gun alone without even moving pretty far.
Up and at 'em, lads.
Now I am going to attempt to go south. I'm not going to cross that H5 area, only because I am slow in the beginning. I'm just going to kind of wait and see. There isn't Arty, but there are a few of those TDs that can hurt me just with one shot. Now this tank actually does have more HP than the Tier 10 FV215B 183mm that follows it, which is a little bit of an anomaly in the game, since usually when you move up tier you gain more HP, but not so with this tank. Now as you see here, even though you are moving slow, the accuracy is pretty good, and once you aim in, it's really good, so overall you shouldn't miss too many shots. Now I'm just gonna roll up to this corner here. Hopefully I can get a shot off or two. It is a Tiger, but not enough gun depression to actually hit him, but it doesn't hurt to try. This Panther is being a little too aggressive, so hopefully he slips up. Don't want to get hit by that T-30, so I'm just going to kind of stay hidden. There's that object, but he shouldn't pose too much of a trouble to me, only because I've already got 2 shots on him. Always keep in mind of your opponents, since that Panther would have been fine if he didn't run away. Object's still sitting there. Yeah, I definitely have to start moving back, just because of these 2 mediums that are flanking us. I'm actually not going to revive my driver, only because a lot of times you will lose your loader in this tank, since that's what that top little cupola there. just take out this T-30 though. I should be able to kill him fairly easily. Next up's the Tiger here. Although I just missed him. But let's go after this TD. I'm not worried about those mediums until they make me focus on them. I'm concerned about that ST1 only because he has enough armor to actually push out close enough to me. Pretty much at this level on the match, we've already pretty much won. It's just icing on the cake, anything else that I do. As you see, I guess kind of hung in the back. I chose the times for me to kind of pop out. I didn't want to pop out too early and take a stupid shot and lose a lot of my HP. Later on in matches, since you do have 2000 HP, you can take a little bit more risks and still come out without dying. I'm just going to repair my driver here though, just because I want to see if I can't get this one last shot in. I don't think he's going to turn around though and come back out. Overall, this is a pretty good game. Got 3 kills. Granted, one of them was a tier 7 tank, but I'll still take that. And overall, top 3 damage, just under 2900, and only took a little bit damage and spot a little bit as well. But even without the mission reward, I did make a decent profit for a tier 9. Now we are going to take a quick commercial break. So right after this little breakdown of the tank again, we're gonna take a little commercial break and I'm gonna hop into another battle after that. But diving a little bit deeper into the tank, equipment wise, I like to use a gun rammer for the added DPM. Coated optics only because even though you want to remain hidden and a cabinet might make sense, I still like that little bit of added view range just so I can see people, and I don't really like standing still only because if you start turning or even moving a little bit, the cabinet is pretty useless. And then to top it off, I have vents just to add a little bit to everything and give me that little bit of extra DPM that I always like to have. Now ammo wise, I talked about earlier, you do have a lot of ammo space. I usually like to carry a lot of AP only because the penetration on it's really good, and you do gain a bit with the premium rounds, but I usually only use them on pretty tough tier 10s like an E100 or something where I can't hit a weak spot. And as far as the grind goes, the grind's not all that bad. It's like without the top gun, you are a little bit gimped per se, but you do carry over that 20 pounder, which is sufficient to start with. Granted, you don't really have much damage at 230 per shot, and moving up to 400 damage per shot is a large leap, but it's still not that bad of a gun. But anyway, I'm going to take a little break here, and after that I'm going to hop into the next battle. Okay, so let's see what map we're going to get here. Anyway, we have mines here, which isn't exactly the best map for this, only because it's not a very large map, so I can't really put distance between myself and the enemy. I'm not going to sit up in the A4 spot that a lot of TDs do, only because it's completely useless in my opinion.
Let's get this show on the road.
The main shots you have from there are when enemies have already killed your team and they're moving into your base. Like, sure, it might help if there's a weak flank, but pretty much when you're really going to be helping from that location, you've already lost the match, which 2 of our TDs are growing up there right now anyway. Now, I'm just going to stick to the city side, only because I can't really go to the hill since I'm slow. And while my gun depression is okay, it's not great, so I'll really stick out like a sore thumb up there. And I'm not going out to the other side, which I'm kind of surprised our E100 TD is, only because there's not a whole lot of cover, and I'm really slow, and going across that open ground, I'll most likely lose most of my HP. So instead I'm just going to curl up next to the little cliff here, and I'm going to try to help this side, and hopefully that 183mm isn't over. Crap, I reloaded. I didn't want to reload. I want that as my second shell. But, of course, he shot me in that little weak spot there. Yeah, we're really a noob team, Mouse. And as you see here, the armor really shows when people just can kind of point and click at you. But since I don't really have speed, I'm kind of stuck in this little spot here. If I back up out of this little cubby hole, I'm gonna die, and if I move forward, I'm gonna die. I probably should have sat back in D6, but not really anything I can do now. But our team's pretty much already lost this ending because we've lost so much of our team and they've barely even taken any damage. And I tried to track the T95, but did not exactly work. But at least I have pretty good accuracy, so I can hit his weak spots fairly easily. But as you see there, they can pretty much damage me with every shot. Even though I have that HP pool, once you get close like this, people can really just kind of back off, and your DPM gets lowered so much that they have the advantage. So this is a good thing showing what not to do in a Tortoise. If I would have stayed a little bit further back in D6, and hopefully our team did, we wouldn't have got picked off into town as quickly, and we would have had a little bit better of a chance, but our team was a little bit too spread out, and we ended up just easily dying, since we kind of just pushed in and died really quick in the beginning. But overall, a pretty crappy game. I did still do the most damage in my team, which isn't saying a lot, but 1600's better than what everybody else did. And I soaked up about 50% more than I probably could have, but I'm pretty sure one of the shots that hit me in the tracks, and it was I think it was the T95, so that really contributed to that. But anyway, the Tortoise line definitely is a very enjoyable line. It might not be the fastest line out there, since starting at the AT2 you have no fast tanks until you get to tier 10, and even the FV at tier 10 isn't that mobile. But really the most difficult grinds are in the lower tiers, right around 5 and 6. They're not bad, but at the same time it's not for everybody. But once you start getting to tier 8, you get enough firepower to carry you through to tier 10, and it really makes up for being slow without a lot of firepower. But overall, the Tortoise is a pretty good tank. You just really have to know its limitations, and like the last battle, you can't really get too close to people, or else you're really going to start seeing the holes in your armor. But overall, it's a very enjoyable tank, and it's one of the few tier 9s I actually have kept. But anyway, thanks for watching my video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also check out my website, wotguru.com, for additional guides and basically a lot of useful stuff for World of Tanks. Thanks for watching.